Shogun Assassin.
It says coming up.
There we go. We're live.
Wow, I see.
Do you see me?
I see you.
Do you like my regalia?
Yeah, it looks good.
I didn't have an actual shirt under this, so I'm the Bigfoot's Shogun Samurai. So,
Red. You're about to be drenched in blood.
that way nobody will know. If I'm drenched in blood, no one will know, because it'll be the same color.
How will they know?
Except for the blood in this movie is like pink almost, like fucking Dawn of the Dead style.
Red paint.
Yeah. But I guess before we get into any of that, this show is in memoriam to Norm McDonald, who just passed away. Just this week, sadly. He was only 61.
That sucks, dude.
Which, it was kind of a surprise because he was battling cancer and it was like nobody knew. I'm sure people knew, like, his close friends and stuff, but, like, it was not public that he had cancer.
Yeah, I remember he put out a few videos right at the beginning of the pandemic. Because, like, I follow him on all social media and stuff, and then he stopped, and that was last I saw him.
Yeah. And I know he had done the, what's it called, podcast for, like, quite a long time, like the Norm McDonald deal. Which is, like, so quality shit, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it sucks. He had, like, a great career, and then, like, I don't know. I feel like he, you know, obviously could have done so much more. Like, anybody that dies at that age, you know, 61's pretty young to pass away. But
yeah, for sure. I was thinking about it, and I think he's my favorite, like, comedian of our lifetimes.
Our lifetimes combined. Yeah. I mean, I can't really think of anybody that... I don't know if I've ever really watched, like, any of his, like, stand-up, because I'm not really a stand-up person, but I've seen, like, stuff here and there, but, like, his just, like, comedic stuff in general was, like, really good. His comedic timing and stuff, so... If you haven't checked out Norm McDonald, he's got a shit ton of stuff that you should check out. He was on SNL for quite a long time doing, like, his big thing was the Weekend Update, and then he did the Burt Reynolds Jeopardy character. And he had some other stuff in there too. But, you know, he's had a career besides that too. Like, he did Dirty Work, was like a movie that didn't get enough, like, I feel like, credit at the time. You know, and then he was in
his last album, his last comedy album, Ridiculous. I mean, we've listened to that how many millions of times? Classic.
Yeah, it was a pretty great one. Which is funny because, like, fucking comedy albums aren't really something people do anymore.
I know, I missed that.
But it's like, with comedy albums, I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, people don't buy albums anymore, so... I don't know, I think it's something that, like, if you do skits, you just do it now on, because that's like, I don't know, that's kind of like, Adam Sandler did the same thing for a while. Like, he would do, like, like, comedy albums, and, you know, that's been a long-running thing, just in general, but, yeah, it was kind of like, he's one of the last, like, comedians to not only be, like, really funny just in general, but, like, he was kind of, like, of a older generation. So, he will be sorely missed, for sure. I don't know, do you have anything to add to that before we...
I will in a little later.
You have your own segment for a Norm Macdonald memoriam that you wanna do, separate of the buddy shots. We will have the Matt memoriam come up soon, or hopefully not. Jesus, I mean the fucking Matt issued. I'm like Matt.
I hope nothing happens
if you don't fucking deliver tonight, there will be a memoriam. I'm like, Chris Benoit, I love you. So, speaking of hopefully better news than Norm Macdonald passing away, we're switching over to our loved segment, Near News. I wish I knew how to say that.
Everybody
in
loves it. Everybody's talking about nerd news. We love nerd
That
news.
time that we did our fucking Trump shit, and it was like the worst fucking shit of all time. It's like, God, this sucks, dude. Okay. Well, I will defer to you, sir. Go ahead and.
All right, my nerd news for the week is they just finished filming a reboot of Eraser, like the Arnold movie from the 90s. And this is like something they keep doing. Is like either making sequels or reboots that are like really cheap and like total cash grabs to like all these action movies that we love from back in the day. What do you think about that phenomenon?
Like what? Just rebooting movies, or ones that we specifically liked?
Yeah, like they they made a sequel to Kindergarten Cop. Just stuff like that. Sequel to Jingle All the Way
with like Dolph Lundgren, and then like I think Jingle All the Way was
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, it's funny because Larry the Cable Guy also did a sequel to the Fairy God, like the fairy,
that's
like
right.
with Tooth Fairy with originally The Rock was in it. I was like, what's going on with Larry the Cable Guy? It's like they're going from like ripped people to like not ripped people. I don't know. It's one of those things where like, so generally,
like no one under the age of 35 knows what Eraser is or gives cares at all. It's like who's this for? It's not for me. And I should be the target audience.
Well, I don't know if I would say that because like they did a reboot of like the only one that's really worked recently was like they did a reboot of Dread, and that was like better than the original.
I think that's a little bit different because it's more of an adaptation of another property as opposed to like, remaking a movie. It was totally different.
Right, but I mean, it's still that's the way
it should be.
They were still rebooting it.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
trying to start a new franchise.
Right. So, which it failed because no one saw it, except for like us.
We saw it,
but like, I don't think that there's very many movies like. I don't inherently think that reboots are like a bad idea, especially for something where like Dread originally was like hardly based on the source material. It was just like it starred fucking, Sylvester Stallone, he's great, but like the way that the movie happened wasn't.
Don't forget Rob Schneider.
But like, yeah, I don't know. More often than not, it seems to not work out, but I think it's also because more often than not, it's not fueled by the same way Dread was fueled, and like they wanted to like actually take the source material and do it justice. It's usually fueled by like money and like trying to like reboot something that was popular back in the day to straight up make money. You know what I mean? So like they don't give as much care to it. So.
Yeah, I think it's just laziness a lot of the times. Like, let's comb through all the old movies and pick one to remake.
Oh yeah, I mean it's money driven. Unless it's like Dread, like where they did want to make money, but I think their first thing was to like do the actual source material justice because originally it wasn't as much. But you know what I mean.
Speaking of the Judge Dredd with Stallone, have you seen the clip where Rob Schneider falls down the stairs making that?
It's been a while since it's been a while since I've seen it.
Like
but
it's horrific because he falls down. He like flies off like a 10-stair drop and lands right on his head. And his head like bounces off the floor, and it's like, how did he not die? So check it out, Rob Schneider.
CG.
Put up on YouTube. Rob Schneider falling downstairs. It's if you want to see a really bad accident.
I'm sure it was fake. Fuck him. Should have been a memoriam.
That's how he turned into Deuce Bigelow.
His fucking spine got compacted. Now he can't move. Why can you think of like another reboot or whatever that like?
Well, there are good there are plenty of good examples out there. It's just that
the Night of the Living Dead one was fucking legit as hell. Like the one that Savini made.
Yeah.
But all the other ones we've ever seen have been shit from Night of the Living Dead, like remakes. Like Night of the Living Dead 3D and all this other shit. It's like, oh my god. Because Night of the Living Dead is like, they never trademarked it correctly. So it's like, anybody can make anything related to Night of the Living Dead. So it's kind of a shit show when it comes to that. That's why, like, back in the day, you would see so many versions of the movie, because anybody could put out a copy of it, and, like, there were, like, colorized versions of it and shit. I just remember going to, like, Hollywood Video and seeing, like, all of them on the shelf, and I'm being like, what the fuck? This sucks. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think we've kind of talked about how, like, yeah, that's totally, like, it's lazy because they're just looking for a quick buck, unless it's, like, the couple examples where they actually want to do the source material justice, like Dread or like fucking Night of the Living Dead, or like, you know, I can't really think of another one at the moment, but they're, like you said, there are ones out there. Just, I don't know.
Yep.
Mr. Deeds is a remake of fucking Mr. Deeds Goes to Washington or whatever, and that movie was a movie that Adam Sandler was in. He indeed did a star in this film. I'm sure the original is like a billion times better because it's got like fucking an actual actor in it. So anyway, do you have anything else to add to that subject, Matt, about reboots?
Nope.
You're like, I will later. I'm like, So I've got a couple tiny little ones here. Nothing that really makes up like as big of a grandiose scale as what you just imparted to the fans. But looks like Tony Todd is going to be voicing Venom in the new Marvel Spider-Man 2 game that comes out like in like a couple years. We talked about that like last week, that like Sony announced all these new games and stuff, and since they're making a sequel to the Spider-Man like game that came out like a couple years ago and was like really like highly praised, like Tony Todd is voicing Venom in it, and I was like, dude, that's pretty fucking awesome. And then something that I was pretty hyped about, because we're going to be watching this film for the month of October, is that Halloween Kills is going to like debut in theaters and on streaming, like Peacock, the same day. And I'm like, thank the fucking Lord. Unlike fucking James Bond and like Ghostbusters, who like they want people to go to theaters. It's like, fuck off.
There's no way I'm gonna sign up for Peacock. Not even a free trial.
Well, how are you gonna watch the movie?
Not gonna happen. I'll go to the theater.
You're gonna go to the theater to watch Halloween Kills?
Yeah, man. It's gonna be awesome.
God damn it.
Enough's enough. I'm drawing the line. Yeah.
For what? What reason?
I don't want to pay for another streaming service. Like it's the death of 1,000 cuts, and I'm done being cut.
How many streaming services are you like signed up for right now?
Not many. I think I just have HBO.
So you have like no leg to stand on in this argument?
But yeah, that's because I don't like I'm not gonna sign up for Disney Plus. There's not enough good content. Like HBO has a lot of really good content. Like they have a ton of movies.
Yeah, except for their app is like the worst app of all of them.
Yeah, it runs really poorly.
Yeah.
Unless it's on my Apple TV. But anyways, that is cool. I'm just making a statement about all these streaming services, and like there's not enough good content. So
we get fucking Mr. Edgy over here with his fucking hot takes.
It's a cold take.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but at the same time, it's like signing up for just a fucking free trial to watch a movie, essentially for free. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's a win-win, at least for me, because I'm never going to watch anything else on Peacock. I don't really want to go to the theaters to watch Halloween
That's my point.
Kills.
You just made my point for me.
What, that you'd rather pay to see a movie than fucking watch it for free with a free trial?
Yeah, out of spite. Spite.
I know, I hate money too. That is the stupidest shit ever, though. Like, that, like, it's only on Peacock. Like, why did they distribute it on there? Like, I don't really know what do they even have. Like,
exactly.
Oh, it's NBC's like streaming thing.
Yeah.
That's like what was it we were talking about? Like how like what's his face? They have their own streaming thing, and it's like the most annoying shit ever. Like Paramount Plus or whatever.
Right. It's the same garbage.
Because it's like, I mean, at least Peacock would have something other than like shitty Star Treks, probably. I can't think of a single thing that like. I mean, it's got The Office and John Wick trilogy on here. That's already a billion times better than fucking anything Paramount's put out in the last 50 years. I mean, personally, can you think of a reason? Oh, like, not that I'm saying, hey, you got to pick one, but I guess if you had to pick one, like, you know, fucking like, I don't know. I'm taking any chance I get to fucking shit on Paramount for like,
yeah.
Essentially,
I'd pay not to watch Star Trek.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know in what situation I would like pay money to somebody to like.
Here's $1,000.
They're like,
let me see it.
Yeah, it's like,
like that's your choice.
Yeah. But like another thing I saw here was that Andy Garcia is joining the cast of Sylvester Stallone's The Expendables 4. Okay. I don't know who the fuck that is.
I'm trying to think of any action movies he's been in. I mean, he's been.
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's an action star. He just looks like. I don't really know what this fucker's been in.
He was in Godfather 3.
The best one.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in Mamma Mia. He was in The Untouchables.
Yep.
He was in Geostorm. Man, he's been in stuff, it looks like.
If Kelsey Grammer can be in The Expendables, then anyone can at this point.
I mean, he was like the only actual actor in those films. Like, everybody else is like... They've got fucking Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Megan Fox, and Tony Jaa. Well, Tony Jaa's legit. I mean, all these people were legit action people, except for, like, 50 Cent. But, like... And I guess Megan Fox. Megan Fox is in this movie? Dude, this movie's gonna suck.
Just like all the others.
I mean, like, it's gonna be probably the worst of all of them yet. Because it's like... They didn't even list fucking, a bunch of other people. So if this is legit just a side project with Jason Statham, I'm gonna be like... Like, there's no fucking...
like Expendables Light.
Right. I'm like, okay, cool. Where the fuck is, like, the Expendables crew? Like,
Where's Arnold?
Yeah. Right. Like, to me, like, they should just be adding people. They shouldn't be taking... Well, he's in. There he's... Dolph Lundgren. Okay. Or Lundgren, or whatever. But he's, like, had the least amount of shit to do in these films. I feel like. Except for
being the villain
and in the first movie,
in alternate scenes,
right? He's a very quick turn. Yeah, Megan Fox. Maybe I don't know. This is bad news, not good news. Andy Garcia. It should say Andy Garcia throws away his career by joining fucking Expendables 4.
Andy Garcia's in it for the cash grab.
It's like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and Megan Fox right there. It's like, okay, this movie's gonna suck. And then Tony Jaa's kind of like, it's like they put like whipped cream on the top of a shit and piss sundae. It's like, cool. Can I just have the whipped cream? Like, Tony Jaa's legit.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we're bitching about it, but we'll still watch it. But it's just kind of, I guess we'll report on it at some point. But, yeah. I think that's all we have for nerd news this week. Unless you have anything else to add, sir.
Cool.
You're like, yes, I just signed up for Peacock. I'm like, what? Okay. Move on to...
Recommendation Nation.
That was the best one yet. Dude, that was by far the best one yet.
No, the best one is when I peaked.
Well, yeah, where you peaked and like turned into a fucking like android.
I became digital.
Yeah, you were like, "Ah!" And I was like, are you okay? You're like, sorry, I just signed up for Peacock and I got digitized. I'm like, fuck, no. You always said Peacock sucked and I didn't listen.
Signed up for Peacock on one TV, and on the other TV I streamed Space Jam 2.
Hell yeah. And on the third TV, you were fucking going through all of new Star Trek on Paramount Plus. You were like, what was that shit you sent me over the phone where it was like, you read the lines from Discovery where it was like,
oh my God.
And I have things that I must get back to. I was like cracking up.
Dude, it's unwatchable.
That was so funny. And I have things that I must get back to and go through with you.
It was total nonsense.
It was so funny the way you were
like
reading
they're delivering it like Oscar bait speeches,
yeah.
But when you break down what they're saying, it's like, who wrote this?
Yeah. Oh, we know who wrote it.
I think I said whoever wrote this should be put to death. And I stand by it.
Hell yeah.
I'm not messing around anymore.
It was the director of Halloween Kills. For deciding to put his masterpiece on fucking Peacock.
Dude, I'm really excited for that movie. Mainly because it's the John Carpenter score, but still.
Yeah. I haven't seen the other one, so... But I'll have to, I guess, see it, because...
I liked it a lot.
We're going to talk about those for one of our weeks. But yeah. Are you going to recommend something to this nation?
I will recommend something to this nation.
Peacock.
A movie called Dirty Work.
Oh, nice.
Norm
McDonald. I see where you're going with this.
It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Like, it's one of the funniest movies, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. And like you said, it wasn't a hit or anything when it came out. It's kind of no one really saw it.
I don't think anybody ever heard of it, honestly, because like I don't remember.
Movie, who cares?
Well, I think it was like really the only movie that he ever straight up helmed, like, because this is straight up his entire like, you know what I mean, like.
It's his style of comedy.
Right, and it's also like he's the main character, whereas like usually he's like a side character in these films, but he's like always like, whenever he's the side character, he's like straight up like, this guy's funny as fuck, you know, like he's the standout guy.
It's a vehicle for his style of comedy.
Right, it's funny because he actually, like Bob Saget, it looks like Bob Saget directed this, and like Norm Macdonald wrote it with like two other dudes. So it was like he actually, this is like straight up his whole wheelhouse.
So good. Plus it has Chris Farley.
Mm-hmm.
Has Chevy Chase, who's really funny in it. As the degenerate gambler doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Don Rickles is in this film too.
Yep, Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Christopher McDonald, is this guy like related to Norm Macdonald? Was that like his dad or
Shooter
something?
McGavin.
Oh, okay. His picture on IMDb looks like nothing like him. Guess he's like older than fuck now.
He basically plays Shooter McGavin again in that movie.
Yeah.
As the villain.
Travis Cole. Yeah, Chevy Chase as Dr. Farthing, the gambling doctor.
The last line of the movie is Norm Macdonald narrating. He says, well, me and Sam got great new jobs. I got the girl, and Pop's got his new heart. And Dr. Farthing, well, he got over his gambling problem. But the bookies beat him to death anyways.
Yeah.
He's dead.
So he's dead. Yeah. Well, he's dead.
Best ending ever.
Yeah.
He's dead. That's it. Bye.
This film
Dirty Work, highly recommended.
also has Artie Lang in it, the fiend of coke or whatever.
Right.
He's like a complete drug addict now, sadly.
Yeah.
His nose is all
sad.
fucked up, like his head looks fucked up because he's like done so much.
He did so much cocaine, like his nose rotted off.
Yeah, it's sad, but like in this film, he's like funny as fuck. I think wasn't he on like Mad TV or something?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I remember there was a big thing back in the day where like Mad TV versus fucking, SNL. But it's funny because Norm was on SNL and Artie was on Mad TV, and they came together. And they also made this film.
Good stuff.
Oh! Yeah, it's a great film. It's funny because I've only seen it, I think, like once, but I remember every single thing about the movie as far as like the plot and like how like it turns out that like both their dad had sex with each other's moms or something. Right. So they're like best friends, and it turns out that they both had the same dad. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great film. Like this is one where like I completely agree with like, not that I would like, I'm like everything else he's fucking talked about is fucking bullshit, but no, this is like completely like, yeah, I
plus the Chumbawamba song is on the soundtrack. Like,
yeah, it's totally. The movie come out like when did this movie
97.
come out? Yeah, 97. That totally makes sense.
Yep.
Chumbawamba. I still remember when you fucking played that for me, and I was like, this song is legit, but I have no fucking clue what's going on. They're like, he takes a whiskey drink, he takes a lager drink, he takes a cider drink. It's like, okay. It's like this guy's getting drunk, I guess. Yeah. Great nomination, man.
Thank you.
I think that if I had thought about it, I would have recommended a fucking Norm Macdonald thing here, but I was kind of going more for like I guess like the topic of the movie this week, so I kind of went towards that. But
okay.
But yeah, I mean, like I'm like, this is about Shogun Assassin this week, so don't ever bring up Norm Macdonald again. No, but like I think it's appropriate because we both like really like Norm Macdonald, so us being talking about Norm Macdonald, I mean, it's like definitely appropriate, and it's also definitely like warranted for how much that we were influenced by Norm Macdonald over the years.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of give him, I don't know, I feel like anything we could say is like not gonna be adequate to like describe him or to like give him a good send off, but I mean,
yeah,
there are plenty of people out there.
A couple pages from his book, which now I have to read because it was hilarious. Where he wrote about when he met Rodney Dangerfield, and it's so funny because he was like, I found out that Rodney, with all of his riches and wealth and fame, it turns out he had a dark secret. He was not respected by anyone. His wife even did not respect him. And he would always complain to me about how he was not getting any respect, like wrote all this serious...
Yeah.
He had a serious problem.
Even though it was like a fucking part of his acting, like his jokes or whatever, it's like... Oh, man. Yeah, he had some of his best jokes, for me at least, were on his podcast, but I can't repeat
his
it.
Podcast was amazing.
Yeah, I can't repeat really any of his like jokes here that were on that podcast, because at least for the ones that I really, really liked, because they were like it's super, out there and stuff, but they were like they were really good. You'll just have to check it out.
He would always make fun of his co-host Adam Egan.
Yeah. And give him like horrible jokes to tell so that he could like be like, kind of like poke fun at him and shit.
What he did with homeless people. Yeah.
It's essentially what like Kenny does to Spenny. Accuses him of being gay and raping people and having sex with like animals and like raping homeless people and all this other shit. It's like, but it's funny. Not that saying rape is funny,
all right,
but
on to your recommendation.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I don't know if I've recommended this before or not, but who gives a fuck? I don't.
The Buddy Boys do.
Oh shit. Well, fuck. I don't know if I can recommend this then.
You blew it.
If they give a fuck, what do I do, Matt?
Got to step your game up.
Where do I go from here? If I've already recommended this.
Smarten up, Kenny.
What do I do? You have to make a split decision on what I should do here, Matt.
Go for it.
Shit.
Bed now, you gotta lie in it.
Oh shit. What if I made your bed? Do I have to lie in it, or do you have to lie in it?
Whoever makes the bed has to lie in it.
Damn. So I could just come over to your house and make your bed, and then I'd continually be lying in your bed, and you'd be fucked out of a
That's
bed.
the law.
Shit. Well, I know what happens if you're really tired. I gotta make your bed and fuck you out of a bed to sleep in. Okay, so I'm gonna...
No.
What? What?
Go.
Oh, I thought you said no, as in like, no, don't take my bed.
No.
No! Don't take my fucking bed!
I swear I was joking.
No! So, Onimusha is what I'm gonna, the series in general, because this is the penultimate.
Nice.
If you haven't, played these films, Jean Reno was in the third one. That's how much this fucking, series rocks, is they brought back the protagonist from the first game and brought him into the future. And he like meets Jean Reno, and then Jean Reno goes back in time to like his time, and you kind of play between the two like characters. But like the whole, you know, it's pretty much like this game was born from the Resident Evil engine, but you know, the best part is you don't have to worry about ammo. You just fucking slash dudes up, and it's a great game. I think really the last one was, I mean, it was like a true game. Like the main game was like one called Onimusha Dawn of Dreams in 2006. So they really haven't made a fucking Onimusha game since like then. So sadly, it's been a while since Capcom has gotten around to making another one of these. But recently they came out with like a remake or a remaster of the first one on PC and a bunch of other stuff and PlayStation 4. So I would say definitely check that out, because they like added in the ability to like not use the tank controls. You can just kind of like use the stick to go wherever you want, which is nice. Makes the game like so much easier and a lot more fun. I mean, but it's essentially set like, I mean, around the time of like, you know, where like the Shogun Assassin kind of stuff, where it's like, except for like, you know, you're fighting like demons and monsters, so it's essentially Resident Evil in the past kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's cool. I think I borrowed your copy of the first and played the first one back in the day.
yeah,
That was really cool.
yeah, it's a blast, because it's funny because like the first one they model Shimanosuke off of like an actual actor, and then the second game they do that too off of like Jubei. I forget what his fucking name is, but it's an actual actor as well. Oh yeah, the Shimanosuke is modeled after Takeshi Kaneshiro, who like actually voiced the character, and then they did the same thing with like the actor for the second one, which like passed away, and then Jean Reno actually voices his own character, and he also like looks exactly like him because they did like motion capture and shit for him, or at least like his face, you know. So
That's cool.
yeah, pretty good stuff. I would give it a shot if you haven't. But yeah, I think that's all for Recommendation Nation and our off-topic talk. Just kidding. There'll be plenty more of that. So let's go to our weekly topic of Shogun Assassin.
Right.
So I'm gonna, before I get into anything here, what made you pick this fucking movie? I guess I should ask not what made you pick this movie, but what made you fucking leave the Discord.
I hit the wrong button.
I was like, what? You didn't have an answer. You just fucking ran for the border. You're like, I'm fucking out of here.
Don't fail me now.
Yeah. So yeah, so like, what made you decide to pick this film, and like, where'd you even fucking hear this movie?
I heard about it when Criterion released the box set a few years ago.
I
read about it and I was like, oh man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and it was. But I hadn't seen it in a while, and I thought it was something that you might really like. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about.
Yeah, you were correct.
Good.
I'm
Plus,
oh.
Shogun Assassin, like, we'll talk about it, but it's like the most easily digestible one of these movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought it would be like a good entry point into the series because basically they strip out everything except the nonstop like violence.
Yeah.
Which hey is all good in my book, but some people might not say it's the best of these series because it's not a real movie really.
Yeah, it's kind of an abortion. They
Right.
they butcher the fuck out of like both films to make like
They butchered it up to make an international release.
to make one like entry film.
Yeah.
Because they also made like Shogun Assassin 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there are 6 films in this series, like based like the Lone Wolf and Cub films based on like the manga and stuff. But like, I had to like do some research into this because I was like, what the fuck? How are they able to do like? But it's essentially like after Shogun Assassin 1, like you said, which was like 12 minutes of the first film, and then like, you know, whatever else they want to use from like the second film. They were like, the second film is the third film like of Shogun Assassin, the third film is the fourth film, and like so on until they were like done. And it's kind of like they've done this before with like when they had like Jackie Chan films have done this where they had like Armor of God 1 and 2 or like flipped or something like that. Where it's like Armor of God 1 is actually the second one, or at least it was when it came out, and then when they came out with the actual second Armor of God, they were like, fuck, they called that one 2 or no, it was like, no, they finally
Armor of God
2,
Operation Condor 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Armor of God 2 is Operation Condor 1.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So yeah, that's not like the first time this has happened. Like happened a lot. Like they like, you know, in video games, that's like probably the most famous thing. Is like where Final Fantasy 6 came out over here as Final Fantasy 3. So they,
right.
Yeah. So there's just like shit like that that's been happening, you know, for a long time. It doesn't really happen all that much these days because like, but this is a little different because they like legit took 2 films and like mashed them to fuck together to make like one release, like you were saying.
Yeah, but I do think Shogun Assassin, like, it technically is like probably not as good in quotes as the other movies, but it's still awesome. Like what they did was like they made a crazy like trashy movie out of like kind of more classy movies.
Yeah, it's like I haven't seen the 1 and 2 because I just watched Shogun Assassin like last night, so I like wasn't gonna go and watch 1 and 2 right after that. But like
they're actual movies, like,
right?
have, like scenes and dialogue and stuff.
It would be interesting to like see what happened because in this film they seem to they gloss over, possibly I'm assuming a lot of stuff because like they have a narration from like the son in this one, which I don't know if is a thing in the other ones.
It's not.
But like, and like the kid that narrates it is like,
yeah. Problem.
He's like the kid actor in this is fine, but it's like the kid fucking voiceover is not. But that's also kind of like a running thing because when they released this in like 1980 or whatever, like because these movies came out in the 70s, but like they got around to releasing this in like 80. But like when, you know, voiceovers weren't really taken super seriously, like they don't go out of control and like start hamming it up for the most part. You know, they're not like, you know, they don't have like goofy shit, like they don't take stuff completely out of fucking context, but like voice like dubs weren't really taken super seriously until like recently when like Japan started being like, okay, we gotta get a rein on this because this is starting to like detrimentally hurt fucking the sales of like, you know, the original products. But yeah, there's 6 films in this, and like we said, the first 2 are like based on like the first 2 or like this movie is the first 2 films, like Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance, and Baby Cart at the River Styx. Weirdly enough, I didn't like 4 of the fucking 6 films are Baby Cart, and then it's something else. So like the third film is Baby Cart to Hades, then Baby Cart in Peril, Baby Cart in the Land of Demons, and then the last one's called White Heaven and Hell. So it was 72 to 73. They made like 4 of these films in 72, 1 in 73, and 1 in 74. I'm like, dude, that is fucking or they came out then. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, can you imagine if like we were watching like you know, say there were 6 Expendables films that came out and 4 of them came out in 1 year,
Yeah.
I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot different.
A lot of the dubbing is a little weird, like, as far as, like, what words they choose to, like, replace. So, like, when the wife of the Shogun's decapitator is murdered and he is ordered to commit suicide by the paranoid Shogun, he and his 4-year-old son escape and become assassins for hire, embarking on a journey of blood and violent death. Even though, like, when they first escape, his son is not 4 years old, he's, like, only able to crawl.
Yeah.
But, like, one of the words they replace, like, it's, like, Shogun's, like, executioner, they would call him a decapitator. And I'm like, I know that's a word, I think, but it's, like, it's, nobody would use that instead of executioner, and I thought that was so fucking weird. That was, like, totally a dub thing, where it was like, huh?
He's a decapitator.
He's a
freak.
Also, like, I guess before we get too far into this, like, something I kind of realized after watching the film, like, and I realized today, and correct me, I could be completely wrong on this and might not have seen this, but, like, after what, like, on the poster it says, like, a movie involving swords and sorcery, and I'm like, there's, like, swords in this, but, like, where the fuck was the sorcery?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like they do, like, their actions are magical. Like, they do things that no human could do, but it's not like shooting lightning out of your hands
yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, that's kind of bullshit. There's no actual magic in this fucking film. But, like, we already talked about, like, the dubbing is out of control. Like I said, it's not, like, worst thing ever. Like, it's not like some of the Godzilla shit where they just kind of go with it and do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But, like, some of the lines are a little iffy. Like, at the beginning, like, there's this long monologue by, like, the kid, and he's like, when I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire, and he was the Shogun's decapitator. He cut off the heads of 131, and I thought he said nerds. And I was like, and he's like, it was a bad time for the empire. And I was like, and pocket protectors, I guess. Yeah, I was like, I had to rewind it a bunch because I was like, I know he didn't say that, but it sounded like he said nerds. But that's the problem is, like, a lot of times, like, the kid is, like, kind of, like, they gave him a shit ton of fucking, like, I don't know, like,
so much narration.
Well, he's so, like, tired. The Shogun just stayed inside inside his castle, and he never came out. People said his brain was infected by devils, and then he was rotting with evil. The Shogun said the people were not loyal. He said he had a lot of enemies, but he killed more people than that. It was a bad time.
Dude, that was a pretty good impression.
Everybody living in fear, but we were happy. My father came home to mother, and when he would see her, he would forget about the killings. It's like, he sounds like that, and it's like, huh? Also, like, okay, so they send, like, ninjas to, like the Shogun. Actually, there's one line in here that I actually kind of thought was, like, he's like, he wasn't scared of the Shogun, but the Shogun was scared of him. Maybe that was the problem. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a cool line, but then it's like, there's a shit ton of other stuff where it's like, but, like, I guess, so, like, the Shogun is, like, pretty much paranoid, and he sent, like, ninjas to go and kill, like, the decapitator, like, his decapitator, but, like, they end up killing his wife instead, and I was like, that is the fucking stupidest idea. Like,
yeah,
like, if you're, I don't know, that'd be like if fucking, like, say, like, somebody hired a hitman to kill, like, me, and we were hanging out, and I went to the bathroom, and they, like, killed you for no reason. Like, what would be the reason? Like, they don't get paid any more money to just kill some random fucker. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, it's not like the Shogun's like, well, you didn't kill the guy I asked you to kill, but you killed his wife or his friend, so that's just as good. Like, not only that, but, like, they ended up killing the wife of, like, the person he was, like, the Shogun was, like, afraid of that person. So he knew that he was super powerful. So, like, why the fuck would you piss him off even more? The guy was fine to not have any reason to like go after the Shogun. He was just gonna be like, I'm done with this. But
well, they messed up.
Right, but it was just like, to me, it was like, what? These fucking idiots, man.
Dude, whenever we do buddy shots, I forget about the killings.
Hell yeah. I honestly, as stupid as the fucking voiceover is in this, it was actually kind of funny. Like, it was
it's part of the whole experience, though.
Yeah.
Like, part of what makes us a
Yeah, it's like, what? So, we've got the top 10 samurai here.
Oh, man.
So, number 10, Goemon from Lupin the Third. Number 9, Silver Samurai, X-Men. Number 8, Usagi Yojimbo from TMNT. Number 7, Samurai Jack. Number 6, Afro Samurai. I fucking did not number these, and I'm having a hard time remembering what number we're on, so I'm going to do it real quick. Number 4, Rurouni Kenshin. Number 4, Samanosuke from Onimusha. Number 3, Yoshimitsu from Tekken and Soul Calibur. Number 2, Oda Nobunaga from... He was in Onimusha as well, but he was like an actual person too. And number 1... Do you know who that would be, Matt?
I don't know.
Nathan Algren, Tom Cruise from The Last Samurai.
Nice.
A white man.
Man.
I actually, to make up for that, I actually have a top 5 of like actual people that were samurais in real life. So, Miyamoto Musashi, 1584 to 1645. Apparently, he was like the very best of all time. I don't know. This is off some weird list I found online, so this could be completely bullshit. Tokugawa, fucking is 1543 to 1616. I don't know how long of a lifespan that is because I'm horrible at math. Or maybe he retired. Toyotomi Hideyoshi, 1537 to 1598. Oda Nobunaga, 1534 to 1582. And then Kusunoki Masashige, 1294 to 1336. So he's like the oldest fucker on this list.
Alright.
He's an old fuck! I have a note that says "guy grabs," and I never
Hang
completed
on, I have
the
one
note.
more samurai.
Oh shit! Who?
I have one more. This should be on the top 10. Robert De Niro from the movie Ronin.
Hell
He was
yeah!
a rogue samurai. Speaking of white dudes.
And then what's his face? Belushi from the SNL skits, where he used to like chop up the sushi.
Nice.
Hashtag appropriation. Guy grab. Yeah, I don't know. I have this note that says "guy grabs," so I don't know what the fuck that means. Today I will begin walking the road to hell. I was like, son chose the sword and come with, or son, choose the sword and come with me, or the ball and join your mother in fucking death. I was like, what is this shit? Like,
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I was like, possible?
If you choose this ball, you'll get killed.
Yeah. I was like, huh? He defied the Shogun and starts going through guys with blood from Dawn of the Dead. It's so fucking great.
That's the coolest part about this movie is like the extreme blood.
Yeah.
You know, basically when any he's just like hacks dudes apart and there's literal fountains of blood.
Right.
It's cartoonish and like real comic booky, but it's awesome to look at.
Yeah. I love that he cheats and cuts off the Shogun's son's head. But
yeah, that's the best part of the whole movie.
But then I'm like, why didn't he just kill the Shogun? Because he's right there.
And spoiler alert, he never kills the Shogun in this movie.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I was just thinking about this. I wonder if, like, by sorcery they mean that, like, the Shogun isn't actually there? Because this happens twice in the movie where he kills both his sons.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's literally fucking right there. Like, he could have killed him both times, but he doesn't. So I almost wonder if, like, they don't explain this, but, like, the sorcery is that, like, the Shogun is projecting himself there. Or something.
Could be.
But it's, like, it's never explained because it's, like, you know, this movie is a butchered mess. That's the only part that doesn't make sense. Like, there wasn't ever any part in this movie, like, where it didn't make sense of what was going on. And I think that's mainly because they have the kid narrating what's happening or where they're going to go or what's going to happen. Because mainly it's like, if there was no narration, it's literally just scenes that are stitched together. Like,
well, that, and it's like a very simple movie. It's just a dude walking and constantly getting attacked.
Yeah, and you're like, what is going on right now?
Over and over again.
Yeah. Our ends are nice, and we have hot bath. I was like,
well, dude, when he cuts the head off of that dude, there is one shot that's like the greatest shot in the history of movies, where it's like slow motion, and there's the headless body,
right?
And there's a fountain of blood squirting on like this awesome sunset. And
yeah.
It's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Love it.
Yeah, this is typical like samurai movie shit. But I think it was probably, I don't know it was the first movie to do this kind of thing, because this is like pretty typical among these kinds of films to have one person standing and one, like, they literally just, it happens in like 5 seconds.
I think Kurosawa was the first one to do that.
Do that kind of shot.
Yeah. And to have like the extreme like sprays of blood just like
right. Instantly.
Shoots like 20 feet in the
air. Anybody could be a ninja. Even a pretty woman or a nice lady. What? It's like the same nice fucking thing. That's like, this is the kind of shit you gotta work with the fucking film. It's like, great film, but this fucking, this is the times when you're like, hey. Sometimes you gotta take a chance if you want to take a bath.
Great line. Next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's funny because they somehow captured, like, what a fucking tiny idiot kid would say if he was, like, able to fucking say something.
Yeah.
There's
one other aspect of this movie that I like more than the original movies, and it's the score. Because, like, they put in a synthesizer score.
Oh, it's very, it's very of the time.
Right. And it's like, I think the real movies have a more traditional score, but the synthesizer is pretty sweet in this movie.
Have you seen all the originals?
Yeah.
Nice. Have you seen the Shogun Assassin versions of the originals?
No, I actually didn't know there was more after this one. So
yeah.
That was news to me.
Your son's life will be payment for your demonic crimes. His slow suffering. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude's a fucking madman. Do they have like a baby Iron Maiden or what? The fuck? They're gonna like torture the fuck out of a little kid.
Well, they almost dangle him to death.
No, that was pretty funny, honestly, that scene, because it was literally just like, that was a real kid that they just tied up there, and like, it was so funny because it looked so goofy. I was like, huh? Because the kid's just like, there's an awesome scene where they're coming for his son, and he's like on an embankment where the water goes down to like a lower level, and all these guys come out and he's surrounded, and he like kills all the dudes, and that's where like he fights the second son of like the Shogun at the time, or you know, and I'm sure there's probably more in the later movies maybe, but like it was legit because it just looked so cool. He was out above they were all like essentially like walking on the water.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah. A great line by the Shogun, which like he had on the fakest fucking like facial hair and eyebrows and shit of this entire film. You could see like the hatching from the fucking like sideburns. He's like, I would risk the lives of all my sons to see his head on a stake. Then when he gets killed, he's like, farewell, my son. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's an idiot.
Get your priorities straight.
Yeah, it's cracking me up. They go to like the dudes that are like go to like get the help of like the Shogun or so like the Shogun's men go to get help of these like this ninja clan, like these women. And she asks, like, he's telling her what happened, and she was like, what was the outcome of the duel? And he's like, terrible. Like he says it exactly like that. Terrible. And I'm like,
so
oh, go ahead.
What do you think of the scene where they introduced the like female clan and they like ask him to like pick his best man so they can show off their skills.
Oh yeah, I have a note about that here in a second, where like fucking he like tries to escape from the room and they just like cut him up.
Yeah, like they massacre him, like slices.
That was
off,
like the stupidest shit ever, because I was like, try to escape from this room, and then they proceed to gang up on one guy and then like chop his fucking body apart, and he's still trying to roll out of the room, and I'm like, how's this fucking fair? Like, how's that even show that they're any good? It's like, if all of those dudes like took on one of those like the women ninja, they would whoop the fuck out of her too. It wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like, man, they're great at what they do. It was like, it was a fucking gang destruction.
They turned him into a human stump.
Yeah, like, and then they kill him, and I'm like, wow, you're really good. You fucking beat him up like 15-1. But like, when she asked him about like the duel, I'm like, why would you even ask that fucking question if this guy's like coming to you for help to like kill the lone wolf? I'm pretty sure that if like, why would he be like, we need your help, but he's already been killed? Like the outcome of the duel would be that like he fucking won, not that he fucking died. You know what I mean? Like, how was the outcome of the duel? Oh, fucking, well, the son won and he fucking triumphed and killed him, but we still need your help.
Yeah.
Like, wow, what a great fucking dubbed line that I'm sure wasn't in the original. 1,000 gold pieces given to the Shogun Assassin to fucking kill, like, the Shogun's brother that was being, like, an asshole. Yeah, that was just, like, a line. There was, like, Seizure-tastic cloth material slideshow with, like, I was like, fuck, weird. Dude. Because the ninja women are fucking attacking and shit, and then he kills 3, and then 2 more, and then 3 more of the ninja women. It's like, Jesus! And the kid...
Yeah, he goes through them like sliced bread.
Yeah, and the kid kills one by, like, hitting the side of the cart, and fucking a knife pops out and kills one of them.
Yeah, so what'd you think of the cart traps in this movie?
Pretty legit, yeah. That's like a legit, like, part of this franchise, too, I think, in general, is that, like, this cart has pretty much like a ton of weapons on it and like traps and stuff, and it's like the kid is able to like help the dad too, which I was like, Jesus. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, on the poster here, let's see, it says, "Meet the greatest team in the history of mass slaughter." I was like,
the best tagline ever.
I agree.
Mass slaughter.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I think probably over the films, they probably kill a shit ton of people together. But, like, I'm trying to think, like, what team would, like, like, the history of mass slaughter, like...
Right.
Really?
Oh, like, that's a thing.
Well, I'm trying to think, like... Yeah, well...
People did they slaughter?
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, what team would have possibly beaten them out. Like, I'm sure there are some.
Hitler,
it's just
a...
Yeah, well, real life people, yeah. The history of mass slaughter. That's like that shit with James Bond where it's like, look up, look down, look out, the fucking master of murder is back. And I'm like, well, that's technically true. He is a murderer. But these people are trying to kill him first, so it's just kind of like, yeah.
You can't spell slaughter without laughing.
Joker style. I'm like, do you think the kid in this movie would make a good Joker?
No, but I do think this should be like a kart race. They should make a kart racing game based on Shogun Assassin.
It would just have the one cart in it, and that would be it. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It was like slicing dude's feet off.
Dude, that part was like ridiculous. Those dudes just stood there and took it. I was like, what?
Yeah, they didn't even jump.
Or like move. It was like they saw it coming. That's like that shot in fucking what is it Patriot, where that cannonball blows that guy's leg off? It's like, how?
Blows his head off. Extreme.
So the fucking ninja lady's like, I am the supreme ninja. And she catches the sword in her hands and then flips out of her clothes and like runs backwards super fast, and it's like almost like a horror movie. It's like scary. It's like weird. It doesn't look right. It's like definitely something that was done in like as in effect. You know what I mean? Like it just an awesome fight where the sun's like cart cuts off some guy's legs, where they just like stand there, and then like he proceeds to like butcher the shit out of everybody. There's a couple of times when like there's like a guy that jumps into a tree, and I don't really know what his plan was, because the fucking lone wolf guy just takes the polearm and just stabs him. Like the guy just jumps up there like a fucking monkey, like a spider monkey, and like holds the branch, and he just stabs him in the back. And I was like, what was that guy's plan? Like, he couldn't have turned around and re-attacked from that position. He just jumps and holds a branch, and then he just gets killed. I'm like, okay.
Dude, honestly, no one had a chance in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do?
I mean, especially...
Plus his sword is, like, the sharpest thing.
It cuts through other swords and stuff. Yeah, it's legit.
Like, cuts trees down, and I'm like,
yeah.
That's so cool.
That's the, like, the Lupin the Third sword, where it's, like, made of, like, possibly, like, I think it's, like... made of like a meteor or something like that, like a rock, and it's like it's supposed to be like, I forget what the sword's called, but it's supposed to be one of those like this, where it's like sharper than any other sword. That's why I can cut through cars and shit in the movies and stuff like that, where it's like, Jesus! But it's so cool, it's like, hell yeah. But like, yeah, now we've got like a part with Rick and Carl where like Carl's taking care of his dad. Because it's like the only part in the movie where like the dad is like straight up kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird because in the fucking film, I think this, like, if I had watched maybe like the originals, I would have understood what happened, but like I think they kind of cut out the part where it showed him really getting injured, because he's like starts just randomly bleeding from his, like, blood comes out from his left arm underneath his clothes, and it's like he's hurt somewhere, but you can't really tell, because like there are parts where like the hooks from the net dig into his clothes, but you don't specifically see any blood or anything, so it's like, and he cuts out of that, so it's like something happened, but who knows when the fuck that happened. And during this whole thing, like, the sun goes out and like takes his jacket off and puts it on the Buddha to take the food that was placed there as like an offering. And I thought that was like a pretty cool scene. I was like, he's a little baby. But then there's like kind of a horrifying scene, because like he's in with his dad and there's like wind, but it's like someone's like singing, and it's like, I'd be fucking horrified if I heard some random fucker singing outside, especially if there was like possibly singing the way that like his dead mom was, because that's like seems like the whole reason he went out there. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah, at least it wasn't a moan.
Or a growl, or a groan. A growl. He's like, Arr! I'd be like, what? But like, it's weird because like he seems like super smart, but like he turns into an infant in this scene. I was like, hey. So this is like funny as fuck, because they have the son tied up above a well, but he's like tied up by his fucking shoulders or wrists or something.
Yeah.
And it's like wacky. It's like, what?
Like Wile E. Coyote style.
Right. Understand, you'll stand at your mother's side soon, aka you'll be a dead son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He's like,
ready to die.
He's like, my son is ready to face death and meet his mother in heaven. And I was like, holy shit. And he pretty much like goes after all these people that are holding his son hostage and he kills the fuck out of him, and like just stops the fucking rope right before he like goes all the way under the water, I guess. It just like his feet touch the water.
Yeah, because I think it was where he like dropped his sandal.
Yeah, he like steps on it.
Like, he knew how long it would take, like
right.
How long he had to grab the rope.
Yeah, like the kid
kill
purposely drops his fucking sandal into the water. I was like, dude, it's legit.
Cool stuff.
Not only that, but like
they are the greatest team in the history of mass slaughter.
Well, I was gonna say, like, his son like goes underwater for 5 seconds and is instantly gonna die.
Right.
But like, this is like the first time that he spared an enemy. is what his son says in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Then this next scene is on a boat, and this guy goes, she's squeezing it tight. Ha! My, how the women love him. And then some random guy starts cracking up. I was like, okay, this is some random bullshit that probably didn't translate like exactly.
Yeah, that was a cool part.
It was funny. So the three brothers, like, they're the three brothers that are they're called like the Three Deaths, but this is like straight up like John Carpenter took this, I'm pretty sure, from this fucking film for Big Trouble in Little China, because like these guys not only have these weapons, but they're like dressed exactly the same. Like they have like the same shit as the Three Storms in Big Trouble in Little China. So that was fucking sweet. I was like, oh dude, this is legit.
Yeah.
One of the
they have special weapons.
Yeah, like, okay, so like, well, one of the guys has like a club. One of the guys has this hook, like kind of like a hook hand.
Claws.
Yeah, claw thing. What's up, Pixated? Matt Wisey. And one of the guys has like fucking, essentially like brass knucks with fucking like, what's it called? Little
spikes.
Yeah, spikes on it. And those are legit weapons. But like while they're downstairs, like this guy's smoking, and he's just like, these assholes think they can do whatever they want just because of the Three Deaths. I'll show them. Like in his mind or whatever, and like one of the Three Deaths throws a knife across the fucking room, and it cuts the tip of the guy's nose off. And then he asks for the knife to be thrown back by a lone wolf, and he like grabs the knife and throws it right back to him into like the holster of the guy's fucking sword. I was like, Jesus!
It's like almost as good as that time Michael Jackson threw that quarter into that.
What would you do if, like, fucking that would have happened? Like, he threw the fucking knife in, and they all would have instantly, like, ragdoll stood up and started, like, leaning Michael Jackson style and dancing. I would have been like...
Anyway, this movie could have been...
I would have been like, what? I would have been, like, horrified. They're like, and this movie just got sued like a motherfucker. Actually was... Yeah. The guy that, like... So, the guy that, like, looked like an asshole, like, that got his nose cut off, like, starts this fire, and, like, he jumps off the side, and then the Three Deaths run up the stairs and are on fire, and then do, like, the triple somersault fucking, just like the Three Storms do. Fucking, they, like, do that somersault, yeah.
They added some style points to their escape.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, he saw this movie. Even if he didn't see all three of them, he saw this one. Or all six, I guess I should say. But they're escaping the ship, and this lady tries to, like, I think, like, attack him? And there's, like, this weird thing underwater where she doesn't, and then, like, he saves her. And, like, you see, like, two swords fall into the water, like, fall to the ocean. But then he has his sword still, so I don't know if she had two swords, or I don't know. But, like, they all go to this house, and they start undressing to, like, not catch a cold or something, and, like, Lone Wolf takes his clothes off, and except for, like, I guess, like, his, like, underwear part, and then he completely strips his son naked, and then he starts going towards the woman, and, like, I was like, I'm not really sure where this is going, and then he, like, savagely rips her clothes off so they can all three hug and hold to stay warm, stay alive, because there's no fire.
Yeah.
And she's gonna, like, kill him, and then, like, the son randomly starts, like, touching her boob. And then that's what makes her stop. And I'm like, what? It was a very, like, weird scene. I was like, okay. But it wasn't, I don't know.
It had to survive.
Yeah. You get to, yeah.
In order to slaughter more masses.
Yeah. This reminds me of, like, in the original Dragon Ball, like, when they first aired it and before it got censored. I mean, you can, now it's, like, uncensored and stuff. They what's his face, like, the little baby Goku, when he jumps into the water, you can see his little dinkus. And it's like, okay, somebody drew his wee-wee. But the reason why I brought that up is because fucking they did the same thing here with the little boy, and it's like cracked me the fuck up. Anyway, dude hides in the sand. Or like there are dudes like hiding in the sand and they get stabbed to death, and that was fucking ridiculous because the guys are like, they see, like the guys randomly like like one of the deaths walks over the sand and like he like is able to stomp on the ground, and he hears like that it sounds different, and he stabs that part, and some guy's like, "Arr!" Fucking blood just comes up from the sand.
How would you feel if you were that guy? Like, you went through all the effort to, like, bury yourself in the sand.
And you were waiting for, like, hours, probably. And then fucking...
You can't even, like, make it out of the sand before you get killed.
Yeah. Well, he does that a couple more times, and then randomly, in some place it's not even close to where those dudes were, like, an entire army pops out. So it's like, why were those guys way off there? I guess they were like, well, fuck, there's no way that they'll find us here. We're, like, randomly 3 dudes. And then, like... He went after the three dudes. It's like, fuck, man. Those guys were unlucky as hell. So after they slaughter the fuck out of those, like, that entire army, they come out of the desert, and the sun is pointing, like, the sun of, not the sun, like, the hot, fucking thing in the space. It's the son of, what's his face? I guess they call him Cub in this movie. But he's pointing up the hill, and then, like, the Masters of Death look over, and he's, like, Lone Wolf is standing there, and it's like, oh, shit. And they go up there to confront him, and the first one with the club gets his head fucking cut in half, and it, like, fucking parts, and it just sprays, and the second dude, like, gets a sword thrown at him, and he says, "How could you throw your sword?" And I was like, what do you mean?
All the things that he's done.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That's what surprises you?
And, like, one of the best lines and most stupid lines in the entire fucking film gets said by the third guy who gets his throat slit. He says, "Your technique is magnificent." And then it says, by the voiceover of the Master of Death, "When cut across the neck, a sound like wailing winter winds is heard, they say. I'd always hoped to cut someone like that someday, to hear that sound. But to have it happen to my own neck is ridiculous." I was like, and then he dies.
I'm glad you wrote that down.
And I was
That's an
like,
amazing line.
oh my god, what the fuck?
It needs to be put on a plaque somewhere on the wall.
Yeah. Established, 1980. And then fucking they open the thing, and like the Shogun's brother's in there, and he's like a full-grown man. I thought it was like a kid or something, but it was a full-grown man in spaghetti style. And he's like, "Get out of there, take it like a man," and he fucking kills him. And he's like, "I'm the Shogun's brother," and he's like, "The Shogun means nothing to me. Die." And the guy's like, like when he gets killed. It's like, okay. And the last last line of the fucking movie is by the son. "I guess I wish it was different, but a wish is only a wish." And then it freeze frames on both of them, like fucking kids club style. It's like, freeze frame, dun, 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 dun. I was like, Jesus Christ, a freeze frame. But yeah, great fucking film, man.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I'm even more like excited to go back and watch the other ones to see kind of how, like, to get the full story of like how it ends and stuff, because this is essentially just the beginning of the story for these characters. So
yeah,
I was like, oh,
cool.
So
that was great, fun to watch, fun to talk about.
Yeah, did you have anything else to say about this film, sir?
Nope. I think we, once again, perfect. No
shit
mistakes.
our pants. We shit our pants. No mistakes. Okay, so we have a let's see here. We have one more movie this month. And then we're going to be doing our films for October, which we've already picked out. So next week will be a random film chosen by the Buddy Boys. So, as usual, Matt, you go ahead and, let me see here, pick a number 1 through, let me see here. I gotta go through it. I should probably like condense this list and rearrange them, but 1 through 32.
5.
5. Okay, give me a second here.
5 stay alive.
Okay, I lied. There is actually, it's not a 5. Sorry.
15.
15. Sorry, guys. Let me see if there's a 15.
Why don't you just tell me that?
No, seriously. I'm sorry. I actually, there's not a 1 either. So the problem is we've gone through certain numbers, and certain numbers I've assigned for people that haven't given me a number, and I need to like rearrange these. Yeah, pick again. Sorry.
25.
Okay, 25. There should be a 25. Give me a second to make sure that this is still watchable before... It's fucking the new Suicide Squad.
God damn it. What jerk picked that one?
Oh, fuck. Is this not fucking watchable on HBO Max anymore? Shit. Give me a second here, because if this isn't watchable on HBO Max anymore, we might have to, like, put this off. Because right now, I think it's only rentable for, like, $25. And I really don't want to spend $25 to watch this if...
Yeah, it's not on there.
God damn it. So we must have, like, I thought it was going to be on there forever. Did they just, like, take it off recently or something?
No, that's what they're doing. Some of these is, like, only for a short window. Then you have
No. Well, how about this? We will watch this. This will be, like, once it comes back up on HBO Max, we'll watch it. Because I don't want to cheat this person out of this pick, but I don't want to spend $25 to fucking watch it. Because I'm pretty sure whoever, you know, like, you know, they didn't pay the 25. So this is gonna be the longest fucking podcast nomination pick session of all time. I mean, it's already become the longest.
The Buddy Boys are riveted.
Hell yeah, they're gonna get ribbed for her pleasure. Okay, pick a number, another number. Sorry.
Right. I'm gonna pick the lowest number that exists and is pickable.
Okay, that actually works because then I can just. Okay, that would be number 2, Iron Eagle.
Okay.
Never heard of this film before. Iron Eagle. Let me see where this is watchable at. They're like...
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
You said you have heard of it, but you've never seen it?
Yep. Yep.
It is not free. Is it rentable? It's gotta be rentable, right? Best price. $5.90. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
yeah. All right.
Yeah, Iron Eagle looks to be some sort of Top Gun movie, maybe. There's like jets here. Yeah. So we will watch Iron Eagle next, and then we will do the Halloween films. Well, not specifically the Halloween movies, but we are going to be watching the Halloween movies, if that makes sense. Like, I meant like for our week, we are going to be doing Halloween themed films. So,
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you guys on that one. But yeah, next week, Iron Eagle. Do you have anything else to say, Matt?
No.
I was like, okay. I had to check and make sure you hadn't left already. I was like, damn. Okay, so you have nothing to say, and yeah, we will Iron Eagle it up next time, and then we will start with our Halloween films. So thanks for coming by, everybody. We will see you all later. Shout out to Pixated for coming by, and may the Buddy Boy Force be with you. Always. Oh boy, boy.